Hello, and welcome back to Just the Basics of YouTube channel. Today, we're going to continue our series on PowerShell. And our topics today are navigation, get location, and set location. If you're not already familiar, this is covering the same topics that I have in the book series of Just the Basics of PowerShell. And that's available on Amazon if you want to view. It's not required for you to read the book before doing this video series. This will cover everything that the book does, but in case you want to cover it in a slightly different manner, you want to see a little bit more details, see a few different examples, the book has that. And this is the first main chapter of the book, and we are doing navigation. If you're unfamiliar with PowerShell whatsoever, you might want to check out the first video. So whenever we talk about navigation, this is really just talking about how to specify a folder path. We can see which location we're currently in with get location. We can change from one location to another with set location. And then you can do that with two different ways. You can do an absolute path or a relative path. So let's just look at an example on PowerShell here really quick. So let's say this is our folder structure. We have C drive, user one, my documents, and my pictures. And we are starting with user one. And we're wanting to go from here to here. So you can do an absolute path. You can just say C drive, user one, my pictures. Simple. Or you can do a shortcut with these different dots. A single dot says, this is the directory I'm currently in. And two dots means the directory prior, the parent directory. So here, since we're starting in user one, we can do single dot, my pictures. So you can see, simple, easy. Now let's do a slightly more complicated example. Now we are starting in my documents and we're wanting to go to my pictures. The absolute path remains the same. There was no change here on what you were wanting to do. Now the relative path, you can do that double dot for the parent directory. That would be referencing user one. And then you would still do the dash to go down to my pictures. You can use multiple of these double dots in a row. So you can do double dot if you wanted to go up multiple levels. So now let's go ahead and jump into some examples. And so we can go ahead and give that real life feel to it. So let's start by looking at the folders we're going to be looking into. So we have folder A, B, C, and D. We can ignore some of these others now. That will be covered in later examples of the course. And we are in demonstration files. So we're going to go into folder A from demonstration files, and we'll go back to demonstration files after we've gone out. We're going to do that with relative and absolute paths. Then similar to our second example, we're going to start in A, and we're going to go to B. From folder A to folder B, again, we'll use absolute and relative paths for that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the very first thing that we mentioned is get location. So get location is simply going to give you the current directory that you're in. You might have heard that as a present working directory. That is the folder that we're in, which also PowerShell shows over here. Now, the reason you might want to use this is because maybe you're writing a script later that might go to multiple different directories. And then this will help you determine which location you're currently in. The one that you're going to use more often is set location. And so right now we are in demonstration files. Let's go to that folder A, but using an absolute path. So that means we're going to type out everything. So we're going to do that C:. Whenever you do the slashes with IntelliSense in ISE, it will help you complete the paths. And that's one of the biggest reasons to use ISE. And if you want to see more reasons why to use ISE over the normal PowerShell, then please watch the first video in this series. So right now we've typed out every path that we're currently in, and now we can type in that A. Whenever I hit enter, I have now entered into that A folder. If I'm wanting to go back to the demonstration folder, I could again type out the whole path, or I can use our new shortcut that we learned, that double dot. And we can see that brought us back to where we wanted to be. I can also use that shortcut, that relative path, going down into A by hitting a dot and a slash. And if you notice in IntelliSense, it does not matter which direction you do the backslashes, it'll correct it for you if you're doing the incorrect one. I'll show you that. And if I hit the A and I hit tab to complete that, it automatically corrected the slash direction. I hit enter and it took me back into A. Now this time, let's go into the set location for B. If I wanted to do an absolute path, I can go ahead and type it all out, set location, and put that B. And I went back to B. Okay, that's really useful. Let me go back to A really quick. And this time we'll do relative paths. Set location. And I can do the double dot to bring us back to the parent of demonstration files. I do the slash, and now it'll let me go down into B. Very simple to go ahead and use these. When I'm going to be doing a script that I might be moving around to multiple different locations, I will likely reference something using absolute path, because I don't know which folder I'm going to be in whenever I need something, and I want to make sure I'm getting it correctly. However, if I'm doing something very quick and I just not needing some repeatability, I just need to get it done really quick, then I just go ahead and use the relative paths. So in your own scenario, see what you feel more comfortable with. Do you want to do it explicitly, or do you want to do it in a shortcut? And what is going to be the best scenario for your use case? And with that, we are now done with our examples, and we will go ahead and wrap up. I thank you very much for watching this series. If you're interested, we have more coming up. We have regular expressions that's in the works, followed by some Excel, VBA, Pandas, Python, and machine learning. Thank you very much for watching. I'd appreciate a thumbs up, a subscribe if you want to continue watching, and any comments or questions that you may have, I'll be more than happy to answer. And with that, see you next time. Bye-bye.